Yes guys, I'm back with another one, and I'm going to be speaking about the usual, you know the drill by now. We're going to be having a little look at BTC, where we're at, are we overextended. I still personally think there's a little bit more left to give in this bull market, as we would say, the bull market. I'm going to have a little scan of Ethereum. I'm going to go through the top 5 like I normally do. We're going to break down USDT dominance and BTC dominance. We're going to have a little look at total 2 as well today, and ETH BTC. So yeah, let's get straight into it, guys. So I'm on BTC right now. Just gonna have a little drink of my green tea, 1 minute. I'm on BTC, having a little look at BTC, and you know, this was pointed out, what, it 2 weeks ago. You know, we start to fall through here, we're potentially going to find a supporting area around here, which we did, and then from here we have rallied, you know, a good 10%, say 10%. So yeah, and we got a massive rejection, just like we had previously here. We had a massive rejection, and we've had a massive rejection now. We are holding here at the minute, but you know, we could be doing something like this because we're in it, and then do something like this again, sweep all that out, and then potentially go again. That's what I'm looking at in BTC. A lot of people will be FOMOing, you know. People have FOMO'd here. I know they have. I can guarantee that they have. For me, at the minute, no trade. The better trade right now in BTC is a short, but I'd probably want to see it wick a few times up into this zone, and then I'll go for the short. And I will be aiming for this zone here, which I did point out. You know, I had a really nice trade before from here down into here, close 75% of it out. Put my stop loss at break even, got stopped out at break even, but I made 75%, so not too worried. I am going to look at BTC on this, on Atos. As we can see on Atos, there's your all-time high right there. I would just mark that out as a zone of interest. I've got my templates, all-time high right here. As of now, if we have a little look, it is finding a bit of support. This zone here, which was an untested point of control, it came up, tested it, rejected, came up, tested it, rejected, fired through. You will see this over and over and over again. I'm on the 30-minute chart. On the bigger time frame, like the daily and the 4-hourly, you know, I'll go down into the 4-hourly and I will have a little look. So what zone were it? Let's have a little look at this zone here. BTC, that was a 118,400. So if you have a little look, where's 118,400? Around here. You see how that 4-hour candle close gave you a bullish signal. It's not a massive move, but you know, it's 3%, times that by 10. You know, you've got a decent trade there. You know, it'd be looking somewhat, you know, long position at that zone. Your stop would have been under there, and you're just aiming for the next point of interest when I get it up, which would have been all-time high. You would have closed most of this trade off when we started to move up, but you know, you would have been aiming for the all-time high. You miss the all-time high by, let's have a look, by 0.6%, but you made 2.3%. Yeah, you've been stopped out at break even, so be it, it happens. Another confluence in this here, what time was that? 8 o'clock. Let me have a little look at this candle close here. That was at 9 o'clock. And the next candle came in at 1 o'clock. So, you know, most people aren't going to be trading, but that's a 1 or 2 trade there. And it's a decent trade. So 9 o'clock. Got a bit of an itchy here then. My apologies. 9 o'clock, you had that big bullish. This is where you go down to your lower time frame. See that big bullish candle there? There's your entry. On that close of that bullish candle. And it's a 3% move. You are going to be taking some off on the way up. And yes, you was stopped out at break even. But you made plenty of money. Also, another little thing to show you here. You know, we're creating fairly equal lows here on the open interest at this zone here. But look at the higher low we've created there, and that's a fairly equal low here. And then it moved off. You know, you've got something similar occurring here. You've got a low around this zone here on your CVD. There, you had a lower low, but it was a higher low in price, and then we moved off slightly. So yeah, that's BTC. I still do think we've got a little bit left to go in BTC. You know, market tops and generally, and you know, you're looking at about Q4 for your market top. So generally in August, July, August, so we're in August, July, August, you start to have your pullback in July and August, and then July and August here. September, you'll have another little bit of a pullback in these zones here, which are untested areas that, you know, in my opinion, these areas need to be tested again. So it wouldn't surprise me, you know, if we did that little choppiness in there. Let me just take that off. So we did this little choppiness in here, and then we start to roll over in September, start to create a sideways, and then we have the rally that's going to create the market top, the official market top. That's my opinion. You know, I'm only going off, I don't trade patterns, but I look at historic patterns where market tops have occurred in these markets. So, you know, looking at previous market tops, if we go back and we have a little look, you know, July, we started to, this is slightly different, May, June, July, August, going a bit further back, January, you know, they're slightly different, but it's looking like April, May, we start to pull back, August, September, October, and we get that rally. You know, we have this little bit of a pullback, August, September, which is around 25% pullback, and then you have your flush up to the top, 70%. So if we have a little look at that, when my PC allows me to. So if we have a little look at a 25% drop in September, you know, that looks good. That looks really good. You know, that'd be lovely. And, you know, another confluence here in this area is these untested areas that I can see. Also, if people use fair value gaps, we have, sorry, this is a fib that I've got. Is that it? No, but there's a fair value gap in there anyway. I'm not going through it. There's a fair value gap here, which will, you know, coincide with a 25% pullback. So, you know, you've got to add that into your brain. Don't start longing here. Genuinely, it's a bad idea. Do not long here. This fair value gap got filled. This fair value gap's going to get filled, and we probably are going to come back down in this fair value gap to fill the gap. You know, you can see it over and over again. There's one that has not been filled, and it's around between 43 and 47. So, you know, 25% pullback here would be a good thing for the market. Right, Ethereum. Let's go on to Ethereum. So I had these levels marked out. I ain't got marked out in Atos because for some reason Atos wanted to delete my levels. But yeah, it is what it is. You know, same here. We've got a weekly fair value gap in Ethereum. We came in, we tagged it, and then we rally. You know, we rally 100% from that zone. Generally what happens, you know, it's just one of them things. But there was an untested one here. So from where we are now into this untested one is about 38% pullback, which will coincide with all the volume that's in here, the top of the volume right here, and the tops that occur in the market. You know, after this pullback, I will be loading up on Ethereum around here. There's no doubt. And then, like I showed you before, we rally 75%. So if we get BTC, the 25% pullback into this zone here, at around 86k, and then a last top of around 75% will take us to around 150k-ish. So at the minute, I'm looking for shorts, just into these zones here. That's what I'm going to be looking for. Ethereum, if you have a little look, showed, you know, that little pullback into there. So Ethereum probably will rally a good 100% again. So into this pullback, 38%, and then a rally of around 100% will take us to around about 5.5k. My opinion, you know, trade at your own will. I'm not forcing you into doing things. If you want to buy this here, buy it. You know, that's totally your option. ETH BTC, we're going to have a little scan of it. I've got some levels marked out here in ETH BTC. From here, this is where all the selling volume was previously. So it won't surprise me if we do get this little pullback into this zone here, which is untested. People are going to be like, it's over, it's over, it's over. I'm going to be the one that's like, right, time to load up. And I'll be aiming for the top end of this zone. And I may even aim a little bit higher to the top area here in Ethereum. You know, and it's got a lot to go. You know, it's been smashed, but it's now picking up. People are wanting ETH. BTC dominance literally played out like I said it would. You know, I've not got a crystal ball. I've got levels. You know, I know where my levels are going to be. And this here, in dominance, as it came back up, is a fake out. People thought, right, time to short altcoins, and altcoins have rallied again. You know, and they've probably been wrecked inside that zone. We are in here where I said we would be. Didn't play out like my drawing, but it did play out the way I said it would. You know, we came back down, retested, bang, back into here. Would not surprise me now. Would not surprise me if we come back into this zone here. Would not surprise me at all. Which is going to pull the market down, like I said, the 25% and the 30% in Ethereum and BTC. Which, you know, people are going to be panicking. They're going to be like, oh no, the market's over, blah, 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 blah. Just trade what you see, you know? You know, it's like, all I've got is levels, zones of interest. That's all I've got. That is literally all I've got. I've got zones of interest. So if this pattern here plays out, then yeah, we're going to have a rally. If we come back into here and then rally to here, that there is going to go with what I've just pointed out, the BTC and the Ethereum pullback, which is a good thing for the market. You know, you don't want it just to keep going up and up and up and up and up and up and up, because the crash is going to be immense. you want the pullbacks. You really want the pullbacks. So that's USDT, BTC dominance. We've done ETH, BTC, total 2. Right. Same with total 2. This here is a very, very important level. Very important level. It has been rejected from this level once, twice, thrice. It's probably not even a word, that, but yeah, once, twice and thrice. So the pullback into here, and maybe even into here, you know, look fake out below, and then we rally from here. Stop buying the tops. You are everybody's exit liquidity. Do not buy that top. Wait. You know, it makes me laugh. Oh, it's breaking out, it's breaking out. And then it does that, and then they all start panicking and they're like, oh shit, the market's over. And then it does that, and then instead of getting in down here, they're getting back in here. Which is a silly move, in my opinion. You know, this is why I like trading, because, you know, you can short and long. You don't need to just be like long, long, long. And you've got your moon boys that just continuously be like, oh, we've got long, we've got long. But even if you put a trend line in, and this pullback into this trend line, you know, look fake out below, is going to coincide with the 30% and the 25% pullbacks. So just be ready for the pullbacks. So if we're going on Ethereum chart, got Ethereum here. You know, I'm looking at Ethereum, and if we can get this 30% pullback, like I've pointed out here, 38% pullback, which is not bad for the market. People start panicking. Oh, he said it's going to come back. It probably is. You know, you get the 30% pullback from where we are at the minute. It's around 37%, okay? Which will take us 2,600. Let me, oh, what a sausage. 2,600, and you all know I've had these levels marked out. I haven't just been like, oh, I'm going to mark all these levels. I've had these levels marked out for a long, long time now, yeah? So from here to 2,600 is a 37% pullback, which will coincide with untested levels that I have got marked out. This is an untested weekly, right? And I'm not saying it's going to come all this way back down to here. I'm not. What I am saying is be prepared for a pullback if it occurs, and I will start to load up in this zone here, which is an untested zone. It has not been tested yet, this zone. Everybody's getting FOMO, and they're like, I'm going to miss the move. I'm going to miss it. What will I do if I miss the move? But if you have a look, that there was 62 days of sideways action. So a pullback into here would be lovely. And CVD still going down. Open interest in increasing, but it's starting to reject now open interest. So if this continues to go down and CVD slightly starts to uptick, which will coincide with a 38% pullback into here, which will be good for the market, you know. And CVD, oh, it's right up there. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. Anyways, when this comes down into here, it's going to sweep all this down here. All this is going to be swept, and everybody's going to panic. But this is going to uptick slightly while that's doing that, and then I've got a diversion. Right, okay, time to load up. And I will load up, and then from there, we will have, from this zone here, 1 second. From here, into this zone here, which will be a test of this zone, and we get an 100% rally, you know, you're going to make a lot of money in that. You're going to make a lot of money in that. Okay? So, you know, I'll start cashing out around about January. So I'm not worried about what's happening in chart minute. I ain't got FOMO. I'm not going to buy in here. I will wait and wait and wait. I'm a very, very, very patient man. Very patient man. So I will wait for this 30% pullback into these zones down into here before loading up. So be the one that's smart and not the one that's going to end up buying this top and being a load of people's exit liquidity, and then you're going to see it come down into here and then you're going to sell it. I know what people's mindsets are like. It'll come down into here, into this zone, and then everybody will be like, right, it's time to sell. They'll sell, and then it'll do that. That's what it'll do. And then they'll all be caught on the wrong side of the market, and then they'll leave the market again, because that's what people do. So, you know, and then you've got all this crap here. You know, bulls push past 5k on the back, blah, blah, blah. Listen, there's going to be a pullback. Be prepared for the pullback and get ready to load up, because I will start loading up. What's Sui doing? Yeah, Sui, it's already started its pullback. January. See, if you have a look here, right, let's just go through it. See, it wouldn't be a Jeff video without a random line on chart. So September, August, we get this pullback in these zones in September, August, yeah? October it starts to move, and then you get that move. So if we get this little pullback into here, into this zone, which, as you know, BTC is going to do 25%. These coins are probably going to do 50%-ish. It literally lines up with this zone here, you know, and I will put a box in this zone here, and you're going to get an almighty rally from this zone, you know, and it, even if it's a 300% move, you're gonna make a lot of money from here. So stop being worried, let it pull back, let it do what it's got to do in September, and then in October we'll start to load up and we'll be aiming for that all-time high. I think that's the all-time high, yeah. $5, we will aim for that $5 all-time high, and we will hold, we will close most of our position off here. Say 75%, we'll hold 50%, 25% in this coin. These are the coins I'm loading up on. BTC, ETH, SOL, XRP for the final rally before we do go into a bear market. So I do think there's a little bit left in the tank. Don't worry, let the markets pull back, sit back, be patient, sit on your hands, as I would say. Stop worrying and thinking I've missed a move, because 90% of the time you've not missed a move. You think you've missed a move, but you really haven't missed a move. So yeah, that's my thoughts. They're my personal thoughts. But I really do think we're going to get this pullback into these zones, which is going to be around 50% pullback, which lines up with this area here, which is a nice supporting area, and then we get the rally. In all these coins, Sol is going to do something very, very similar. You know, it did the same here, August, September, and then October we rally. You know, we rally 121%. September. So if we start to pull back from here into September and have a little look, what's there? An area of interest where there will be buying activity going on to be about 35-40% into this zone here. And then we will rally from this zone here, and we are probably going to take out all-time highs. And that's another 200% right there. So don't worry. You know, you've not missed a move. XRP is going to do something similar. That's just a little short trade that I've had on. You know, I'm expecting it to come back into this zone here. We'll see. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It is what it is. But I am expecting something very, very similar with XRP. You know, I've got a nice supporting area here. So from where I've shorted it, you know, it may even sweep all this out, because we've also got untested zones, and we've also got fair value gaps that have not been tested to the downside. And then it's going to rally. Where did it rally here? October. Again, October. You know, it rallied 500%. I know there were a load of bullshit around it. That's why it rallied so much. So it wouldn't surprise me if we come back down to 1.5. And then we rally all the way to all-time highs. You know, to around $4.50. My opinion. You know, it could rally from here, like I say, but, you know, the smart thing to do would be to wait. Also, this coin here wound me up yesterday, this coin. I was waiting for this coin. I was waiting for it. You know, and I was telling people in the group, I'm waiting for this sort of move to happen. And it came into there, and it's dropped 13%, and I've missed that move. But there's plenty of coins, plenty of opportunities in these markets, so I will just wait. I will wait. That's just something I was telling people in the group. I'll wait for this as well to come back into there, and then we're going to get a drop back into this zone here, because I think it's getting delisted, that. Epic, you know, I had this important zone here where I told everybody you want to start to short, and you got another 13% move right there. Absolutely lovely. Easy trading, easy. Right, I'm going to get out of here. Don't forget, I've got links for the new Discord channel in the comment section below, in the description, whatever you want to call it. I've got links for buying me a coffee. I've got links for everything below, you know, baccarat indicators, all this. You know, I'm just going to point out, I've not got a crystal ball. All I've got is zones and levels, and I'm pretty damn fucking accurate with what I do. You know, I've been trading a long time. I haven't been trading, you know, in effect, crypto a major long time. But you know what I've got? I've got a very calm mindset when I'm trading. A lot of people have got the mindset of, I've missed that move, I must buy now, or I must sell now. Whereas with me, if I've missed that move, like I missed this, even though I did have a limit order in here and I removed the limit order, and I've missed a 13% move, I'm not bothered, because I will go and find another coin that's going to print me some money. You know, and it's not hard. You know, if you're starting off small, this is just a little tip I want to give you. If you're starting off small, say you've got, I don't know, 500, £1,000, yeah? Aim for a small percentage per day. You don't even have to aim for it per day. Aim for it per week. Say you want to aim 5% per week. You're going to make a lot of money if you're aiming for, if you make one trade and you make that 5%, turn the chart off, click that button there, 1 second, click the button, yeah, turn the chart off, go about your day. That's just a little tip from me. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here now, guys. Like I said, you know, I've got the links. Comment down below, let me know what you want me to do next. And yeah, I'm going to get out of here, and I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and happy trading, guys.